Good afternoon, everybody. It's April the third, and it's getting pretty warm. I think spring has sprung now. Uh, the Japanese are coming towards the end of the season. Now, the season for everybody else around the world is Christmas. That tis the season, but the season here in Japan, when you say the season, is cherry blossom season, or Sakura, as they call it here. Now, Sakura season. How can I explain Sakura season? It is where Japanese people lose their shit. Lose their shit. At these little pink flowers that bloom for a week to 10 days every year. Now, this year, because of climate change and the way that it's going, they bloomed pretty early. So I would say it kicked off around 24th of March. That's when you started seeing buds come on trees where I am. Now, there's a whole thing in Japan. There's an whole thing. There's a group of professionals that the government employs to make sure the whole country knows in which part of the country you're going to have peak blossom day. Now, obviously, down in Okinawa in the southern islands, they bloom first. And I'm not sure, but I think the very, very start of March is when they bloom down there. Now, as you go across the country off to the right, where it sort of goes up through Kyushu, and then the country sort of doglegs at the bottom, and then you sort of go across to the east, and then you get to Tokyo and you dogleg again, and then it just goes straight up to the north and then on to Sapporo. So they all bloom in different places at different times. It's not a one country thing, because obviously the country is so long and it's stretched out from west to east that west to east and south to north, that it's different. It's a different climate in different parts of the country. Not like in England where it's pissing it down all the time, everywhere, forever. No, there's not much of a swing in England. I mean, when you get to the north of Scotland, it's just fucking freezing. But here, there is a definite change, because you've got, in the south, in Okinawa, you've got almost a tropical climate, and then in the north, in Hokkaido, in the winter, you've got that wind and snow whipping in from Siberia. It's almost tundra up there. So they blossom at different times. Now, peak blossom where I am. I'm an hour south of Tokyo. So peak blossom here was around the 28th, 29th of March. And it were like a warning. Like a warning. You know? Get your cameras ready. Get everything ready. You know, the blossoms are coming. And everybody, you could feel it in the air around the 21st of March. Everybody's getting, they're buying little plastic sheets to sit on. Because what they do here is they buy a load of beer, they buy picnic food, and they throw a little plastic mat out under the trees, and they'll sit under the trees and get pissed and eat food with their mates. It's all very civilised, and they get very pissed. So that's what they do down here. Now, it's not as crazy down here as it is in the big cities. Now, many years ago, I lived in Tokyo for 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. From 2005, 4 years to 2010, I was living in Tokyo. Now, in Tokyo, you've got a big park in the middle, right slap bang in the middle of Tokyo, called Yoyogi Park. And it's a public park where anybody can go any time of the day. Any time of the day. They do shut off the gates, but there are little gaps in the fence that are never closed that you can just walk in and go in there at night. So these gates open around 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. Now, this is on a weekday. You've got to remember, this is on a weekday. So what people will do is some of them will camping out all night outside Yoyogi Park, and then the gate will open. And I used to work around that area in Gyenmai. And I would walk past that park on a morning, or cycle past that park on a morning and see the people waiting. And I cycled past one morning when they were opening that gate, and people had the plastic mats and were sprinting in to the park on a weekday. And then they'd find the peak bloom tree or the nicest tree. They'd throw the mat out, and then they would tape the mat to the floor, and then put a little sign on it saying the name of the person who's reserved that space. Now, a person would have to be sat down on that mat at all times, otherwise the mat gets removed. So the one person would go in, put the mat down, would have snacks there so they could eat and drink until the mates turned up. Now, you've got to remember, in Japan, unlike the UK, and I don't know about America, but unlike the UK, where you finish at 5 and around 4:30 you're like, I'm fucking done. And you're out of the door as soon as that bell goes. You're gone. Now, Japan's not like that. You go when you've finished your work. You don't go before. That's not happening. So what you've got is a normal finish time for a Japanese salaryman or office worker is around 7 at night. 7 at night. Even now, I mean, I don't play that game, but 7 at night is fucking ridiculous for anybody to be at work for that long. So then the mates would turn up at 7 o'clock. Now, this fella or woman has been sat there since 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. Just sat there under the trees until the mates turned up. Now, if that were me back then, I'm going to be bored. I'm not going to be sat under a tree for the thick end of, 10 hours? Waiting for my mates to turn up without cracking a can. So what you would have is, you'd walk back into the park at lunchtime when you were on your break, and you'd see all these pissed people laid out on a mat that had just started boozing at 9 o'clock in the morning. Now, they'd obviously wake up, get a second wind, and get on it again. So by the time the friends turned up, you've just got this blubbering mess that's completely pissed. And then the friends that have been working all day are turning up sober and then just starting the party. But that's how serious they are about celebrating under these cherry blossom trees. So what pleased me immensely this cherry blossom season was it has pissed it down the entire time. Real rain. That big, fat, cold, windy rain. And you'd think, oh yeah, peak cherry blossom season is 3 or 4 days where you've got the blooms. But it's fucking rained constantly for 10 days. Now today, and everything is geared towards cherry blossom season. Every year, Every year it's geared towards cherry blossom season. They advertise the snacks that you should be eating. The number one drink you buy in Japan, apart from water, is green tea or tea. There's a cherry blossom tea. So you've got green tea with a hint of cherry blossom in it. That gets pushed in cherry blossom season. It's fucking cherry blossom Kit Kats. Cherry blossom Kit Kats. I remember the first time Kit Kat strayed from the path of milk chocolate in the UK, and they put out a dark chocolate Kit Kat. A dark chocolate Kit Kat. And it was my dad's favourite. It was my dad's favourite snack. It still is. It's his favourite chocolate. And this dark chocolate Kit Kat came out, and my dad he bought one, he tried it, and he just looked at me, he says, the country's gone. And that was with dark chocolate. Now, he's come round since, because in Japan, they've got all kinds of flavours of Kit Kats. Pudding, custard, raspberry, chocolate orange, which is sensational, by the way. Anybody that has a chocolate orange at Christmas, think about it as a Kit Kat. I could quite easily get addicted to them and then be rolling around at fucking 18 stone again. But those chocolate orange Kit Kats, it's like a miniature orange club for them that are listening in UK. Oh, God, if I put my mind to it, I could be a pre-diabetic 20 stoner. Oh, God, I'm thinking about it now. It's heroin for me, is the chocolate orange Kit Kat. But they've got fucking cherry blossom Kit Kats. Pink cherry blossom. So you open it, it's a pink Kit Kat. You're looking up at these pink flowers. You've got beer, Japanese beer, with cherry blossoms all over it that is just sold for you to get on your mat and get under the tree. But this year it's pissed it down the entire time. So I was out today, because I'm still on holiday. I were out today hiking with my friend up in mountains, and we're off at peak of it now. The green leaves are coming out. The green leaves come out behind the flowers once they've blossomed, and all those leaves are coming out now. But what it's like when you're out hiking now, or when you're out walking around town. I were out filming at the temple today, the cherry blossoms, and any sort of stiff breeze, it's like somebody's throwing confetti at a wedding. It's very nice. Speaking as a 52-year-old northern man who thinks the worst of everything, because I'm northern, that is very pretty. When you're in a temple and there's a stiff breeze and the cherry blossoms are past the peak and it just blows in front of your face like confetti, these little pink petals. It's very pleasant and it puts you in a good mood. But for 10 days, it's pissed it down. And I've got a few friends around the country and they were saying, yep, it's pissing it down here as well. So they've missed all of the cherry blossom season. They've missed sitting under the cherry blossoms, which they've geared up for all year. Now, the weather has come good today. We've had the first bit of back-to-back blue skies. I mean, and it's not full blue skies. It's still being cloudy and a little overcast in the morning. But we've had some blue skies today. Now, I've noticed a few people that live around here, where I live, because the kids are on holiday, they've grabbed the kids and jumped on a train and headed up north. Now, you go north from here, you've got Tokyo, which is an hour away. And then further up the coast, 400 kilometres, 350, 400 kilometres. So on Shinkansen, on bullet train, you get in there in about a couple of hours, is Sendai. So I've noticed a few people have gone up to Sendai because as I speak to you today, on 2nd of April, it's probably peaking there. So there are a lot of people up there. So because it's pissed it down during peak season to the west of the country, a lot of these people in the west have gone, right, kids are off school, get them in car or get them on train, and we'll go up to Sendai. So Sendai now is experiencing peak tourist travel. So they're making a fortune. They're making a fortune up there in Sendai. And I think I don't think many people will follow it up to Fukushima because they're still worried about all that fallout that's going up there. But the kids are back at school on Thursday. So I think Sendai will be the furthest north that people are taking the kids to go see cherry blossoms. But anybody, any year, who are planning a trip to Japan, it is the season to come. It is such a nice season to be here. I mean, I do like summer here, and I don't know one single person that enjoys summer here. It's hot, it's humid, you're sweating constantly. In Tokyo, in a city in Tokyo, it gets up to about 40 because you've got that sun bouncing off at tarmac and then bouncing in your face, so it feels like 40. The hundreds and hundreds of thousands of air conditioning units that are working in Tokyo are blowing cold air into the buildings, so they're blowing hot air out. So the whole city is like a sauna. Now, I didn't like that part of the summer when I had to work and when I was in city. But now that I've got myself into a comfortable situation down here by the beach, I don't fucking work August. Bollocks to that shit. So the last 2 weeks in July and all of August, no bueno for work. I'm not doing any of that business. So I just take it off. And I love it. I love the summer here. And talking to you from the perspective of a man from north of England, where I remember one summer in the 80s, maybe 85? No. 83 or 84. The 6 weeks holidays that we got in 1983 or 1984, it pissed it down in Yorkshire for the entire 6 weeks. And not just drizzle, it pissed it down. And it was sunny for one day. And it was sunny on the August the 17th. And I remember that because it was my mother's birthday. And that was the only day it was sunny. It pissed it down for 6 weeks. A complete fucking waste of the 6 weeks holidays. And yeah, when you've got northern parents, I'm being very specific here because I don't know how many people who listen from north. When you've got northern parents and it pisses it down all the time, a northern mother gets so pissed off with having to sort out wet clothes, get washing machine on, so they don't let you go out. So you've got to sit in house watching clouds, hoping that sometime soon it's going to clear and you're going to be able to go and play out. Because well, fuck all to do. There were 4 channels, no internet. We want big readers. So you're just waiting for rain to stop. And everybody, all these expats that are not English people that you speak to, oh, this fucking weather, I hate summer, I can't stand. Fucking shut up. It's fantastic. A sunny day. I left the country. I'd been away for years and years on end before, but continuously, we are in 2023 now. So I have been out of the UK for over 21 years now. I've not lived there for 21 years. And for 21 years, every day I experience a sunny day, I still appreciate it. I still appreciate a sunny day. And here in Japan, it's all time. It's all time. I mean, you get a rainy season here in June where it pisses it down for a month. But it don't piss it down for a month. You'll get 4 or 5 days and then it's sunny for 3 days and it starts pissing it down again. So, fucking rainy season to me here is like a normal summer in England. And here, it will arse it down for a couple of days and then it's done. We're done. But this is rainy season. Yeah, I know, but we're done, and then I'll have 3 days on where you can jump about in sunshine, and I'll piss it down again. So rainy season here for me is not really a rainy season. Even going to these tropical places when you're in Thailand and it's rainy season, I mean the fucking heavens will open. These jet black clouds roll in. The heavens open. It's like a cloud burst. There are torrents in the street. It's fucking arsing it down. And then it just stops. And the sun comes out and it dries it all off and the steam coming off. And we're done. So, when you say rainy season to me here, I kind of laugh. Because the fucking constant drizzle and grey sky that I had to deal with as a kid when you weren't allowed out. Yeah. And I mean, when it rains here, it does piss me off a bit. But this last week, the fact that it's been raining during cherry blossom season and it's ruined everybody's cherry blossom viewing parties as kind of the things I take joy from. The things I take joy from. Yeah. I'm obviously not a very nice person, but when I see people getting so excited for something and it don't come off, it's one of the joys. It is one of the joys. So, hopefully next year, 12 months from now, we'll be talking about the cherry blossoms and we'll have had a pristine week for viewing them. But cherry blossoms have gone now. Everybody's getting back to normal. Everybody's coming back to centre again. They are not losing their shit anymore, which is a nice thing to see. So, I'm going to break on the audio. I'm going to break because I don't want to demonetize my YouTube channel. But I'm going to break and give you a musical break so you can have a quick listen to this. And we're back. Now, for them of you who are not in the know, that were the soundtrack, or that were one of the pieces that were in the 1983 film Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, and I think I saw it. Now, let me wing this, and if I've fucked it up, you can message me. David Bowie, prisoner of war, Japanese prisoner of war. He's called Mr. Lawrence, and a Japanese prison guard takes a bit of a liking to him. I think. I remember watching it one Christmas, and that's the gist I got from it. But that 1983 would have been fucking hell 40 years ago. I think I'll watch it again before next before next episode and see how right I am. Anyway, the fella, that's been in the news here this week. The fella that composed that piece, Ryuichi, his name was, just died on 28th of March during cherry blossom season, which I think would be the perfect thing to listen to while you're under cherry blossoms. You listen to that piece that you've just heard, you shut your eyes, just shut your eyes and listen to that part of the podcast again. And when it's done, after that 4.5 minutes, whatever it is, you just feel so relaxed. So nice. So nice. Anyway, he composed that in 83, and I remember that piece of music more than I remember the film. Da-da-da-da-da. And I think that influenced the fella that did Lost in Translation as well, because the music was very, very similar to the Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence music. I don't know if I'm remembering that right either. But yeah, he died. He when that music came out, he then moved to New York, and he was living in New York for about 30 years, and he started getting sick. He got cancer at the throat, and they sorted it out, and he was saying, I'm going to have to live with this for the rest of my life, and he came back, and then it had spread to his prostate. So in 2020, had all the chemotherapy and all the treatment he could do. And again, he were having to take loads and loads of pills. And then a couple of months ago, it just got him. Now, what they did here, which I thought was a class act, is he died on the 28th. And they announced it on the 2nd of April, yesterday. So they announced it yesterday that he died, but he died on the 28th of March. So here in Japan, you die and you're done and dusted with funeral in 3 days. So you die on 28th, 29th, 30th. So his funeral would have been on 30th first, the cremation and the ashes back to wife, and then they announced it on the 2nd. So there'd be no clamouring outside house with press. But they get it done really quick here. Now, recently, an auntie of mine died on 8th of February in England. Her funeral wasn't held until the 23rd of March. Now, I don't really understand, when you're in a country here of 130 million, and in England it's 65 at the most, why it takes somebody 5 weeks to have a funeral where it takes them 3 days to sort it out here. That's how efficient Japan is. Not just the fucking trains. It's not just the trains. If I finish this podcast today, walk out of my podcast studio, gripping my chest, wife and kids find me in a few hours because they're down at the in-laws, I will probably be blowing in the wind by Friday morning. Yeah, Friday morning, which is great. It's just like a wedding. If you have a surprise wedding, I'm getting married, can you come? All the knobheads that you don't want to invite to your wedding can't come. Same with the funeral. But why would I give a shit who comes to my funeral? I don't. I'm not going to know. But yeah, 3 days, poof, you're done. So yeah, he died. But I would ask you all that listen, just have a listen to that music in a quiet room by yourself, or put your headphones in, shut your eyes, and just relax. Your heart rate lowers. All the world just fucks off. And then when it's finished, you just feel a lot better about yourself and the world. So that's my advice to you. And if you drop dead in Japan, you will be ashes in 3 days. So, I'll see you next time. Please like and subscribe and tell everybody. The download numbers are fucking shooting up, and I would like to thank each and every one of you. So I'll see you when I see you. Thank you very much again for listening. Goodbye.